I'm all for making an impact. So I want to work with other businesses that, want to make that impact as well. So we kind of use what I like to call our magic to help them use more of their magic, which is just changing the world one person at a time. We're more looking at like being growth partners for these companies and these influencers, where we build out the entire funnel. We run all the ads, we handle all the back-end emails, and pretty much all they have to do is show up to the sales calls that get booked. If they don't have setters already on their team, which I always recommend them having at least one setter, so that way every lead that comes in, because with the call booking funnel, how it's set up is, they opt in, they watch the 5 to 20 minute VSL, and then they go to book their call. Only about 5% of the people that opt in are going to book their call. There's more education than there are people consuming education. And like scaling these types of businesses is just getting harder and harder as the days go by.
Right, Michael, welcome to the Online Business Show. It's great to have you.
Dude, it's great to be here. I was super pumped when you reached out and wanted to get me on.
Yeah, bro, I've seen your growth. We met probably 5 years ago now. We met at a pre-event, a pre-mastermind event before Funnel Hacking Live in, was it Nashville or Florida? I can't remember. I've been to 2 of them, I believe.
It's in Orlando.
So yeah, Florida. Orlando, yeah. And I remember Josh Forty was speaking, James Smiley, Steve Larson, and we were both kind of getting started at the time and learning from other people. And now we've grown to have pretty big businesses, and I would say we're in pretty similar situations. We have kids now, and so a lot has happened since then. And obviously, I've been watching your journey. So for everyone tuning in and listening, my goal with this show is to show people who are young and a little bit skeptical online. They follow gurus and they see people flashing their cars and houses and watches, and they're like, that's probably not. That's probably fake. They're not making money doing what they're saying. But you're one of the guys who are like in the trenches. You're building businesses, you're making money, you're working with clients. So the question I like to start with is, how much do you make per month and how do you make it?
Yeah, I mean, right now we go anywhere from like $30,000 a month to I think our biggest month was $65,000. And we do it, we're all agency done for you work. So we build funnels, manage email lists, and then run ads for our clients.
So you'd say you do some of the most impactful stuff that has an ROI, a direct ROI for your clients, right? You're not just selling logo design and graphics. You're actually working with them to help them make more money.
Exactly. No, 100%.
Yeah. Perfect. Who do you work with? What's your niche that you like to work with, where like we have a proven system, we know we can get results, and you feel confident helping and serving?
Yeah, so pretty much, I mean, since I started, it's always been the coaches and course creator market. And the reason I like working with them is because like I'm all for making an impact. So I want to work with other businesses that, want to make that impact as well. So we kind of use what I like to call our magic to help them use more of their magic, which is just changing the world one person at a time.
Yeah, especially with the education system these days. I do both. So I also like to focus on education, but right now we're scaling the funnel agency again because we're like, I want to work with people who are course creators and coaches. And some people listening, they might say like, wait, so are you competitors? And this is probably a beginner's mindset, where they think just because you're selling to one industry that, you're competing against each other, when I would say there's more fish, there's more than enough for everyone in this industry. I'm curious why you chose that industry. Was it the funnel types? Was it the business model that it was scalable? Or was it more so the impact that that they have on other people's lives?
Yeah, it's definitely more so the impact. I mean, working with coaches, that it's one of the toughest markets, especially right now with everything that's going on. I mean, there's more education than there are people consuming education. And like scaling these types of businesses is just getting harder and harder as the days go by.
Yeah, for sure. What made you choose to offer ads and funnels? Because me personally, I like to focus on the conversion events. And we are adding more things like more advanced CRO and email, like weekly emails to help them increase backend profits. But I've never wanted to touch ads the last couple of years because I don't want them to rely on me running their business. So I'm curious what that process been like for you. And it makes sense if you're doing like one specific funnel type where you know like, okay, we can duplicate this and create systems and processes to get results for people. So talk to me a little bit about what that's been like for you.
Yeah. So when I first started, I started as a media buyer. I was running Facebook ads. First client I had was $70 a month running Facebook ads for a local restaurant. And
Okay.
then I kind of got in with a couple different coaches. I started running their ads. I started building out some landing pages and stuff. I really, really loved the whole copywriting and designing side of the entire thing.
Yeah.
And what ended up happening was I was partnered with Brittany, and we were partners for, I believe, about 2 years. Through that time, I was doing majority of the ad side of everything. I was writing the pages, I was designing the pages, and then she was doing all the back end. So like setting up the emails, writing the emails, and doing all of that. And actually, when she exited the company back, I believe it was 2020, I stopped running ads for clients. I was like, you know what? I'm going to focus on what we have been doing best. And that has been the whole funnel side of everything and the whole list management side. But what I have kind of started to find out over the last, I'd say 8, 9, 10 months is a lot of the bigger clients that we are working with, they want an agency that kind of has a piece of almost everything. So what we have started to create is almost like a full ecosystem. So we only do 2 funnels for clients. We do a VSL call booking funnel, which is just opt-in page, VSL, calendar page, confirmation page.
Yeah.
And then we do event launches. So this is anywhere from a 1 to 5 day event. And what we do is we help with the concept. They go create the actual training, and then we write the copy for the sales page, the VIP upsell, the order, the confirmation, and then all the emails. So we have the post-purchase emails, we have abandoned carts, we have an OTO upsell sequence. So if they only purchase general admission, we want to push them into that VIP offer.
Yeah.
And so the things that we do are, like you said, it's kind of rinse and repeat. And that's why we're bringing more of the ad side in.
Yeah.
Plus, the MRR. What we were doing is we charge anywhere from 20 to 25,000 for a full funnel build, and then for list management, we charge $5,000 a month. They get a daily email going out to their list. We write the email, we send the email. If it needs to be designed, we design the email, and then we also focus on deliverability. That's a huge thing that I think a lot of list managers don't focus on.
Yeah.
And we've brought in quite a few of our clients and ourselves from like 8% open rates up to 20, 30% open rates within 60 days of working with them, which that alone, if they're still sending the same content and the same amount of emails, they're already going to double the amount of profit that they're getting because they're doubling the amount of people that are seeing their offers. It's
kind of like conversion rate optimization. They're going to double their revenue by doubling conversion rates from the same traffic. But I want to pause where you said, because a lot of people have limiting beliefs what's possible, bro. Like, especially if they have been doing graphic design or a regular 9 to 5, they hear 20 to 25,000 for a funnel and they go, wait, what? So I have a question for you to help younger people and beginners specifically. What makes you be able to charge something like 25K besides the obvious, like the return on the investment you can help generate for clients? But how do you position yourself? Even do you build your personal brand? Is it the portfolio? Because I talk a lot about like having one offer, one result, one case study in one example when you're closing people one-on-one. So how do you charge so much?
I mean, really, because we do the whole system, we do the funnel, the emails, we stay on for at least 60 days doing CRO, because I see a lot of these people that are charging anywhere from like 500 to 5,000 for a funnel. They'll build the funnel out and they'll just kind of be like, hey, here's the funnel, kind of good luck. I hope it converts. I don't know if it's going to. And then they just kind of like leave it at that, which I think that's why there's a bad taste for a lot of people hiring different marketing agencies, is because they really don't give a shit about the results that they're getting their clients. So what we do is we set a KPI for what we are trying to hit for either return on ad spend or the conversion rate on the funnel. And then what we do is we work for at least 60 days, making sure that we're hitting that KPI. If we don't hit that KPI within 60 days, then, you know, we stay on for a little bit longer until we can reach that KPI. Throughout that 60 days, if we launch a funnel and we notice that it's just not converting how it should be, we'll rewrite and redesign that entire page. So that way we can make sure that it is converting on where it needs to be.
And a lot of people hear this and they think that sounds like a lot of work. But what they don't see is that a lot of work, when you know what you're doing, gets you a lot of results. And that leads you back into closing the next deal, because you're stacking not just skills, but stacking results. Right. And I remember when I got started, I used to spend so many late nights doing the work, staying up all night, learning the skills when I didn't see any results. But then at one point, things start to snowball. And then you get clients reaching out to you that are gurus on Netflix. And you're like, what happened here? Well, what happened was 5 years of hard work. And that's what makes it easier to then charge more for new clients moving forward. I'm curious to hear what's your team structure like, because I'm big on serving clients on a deeper level and also having a quality lifestyle with my family. And we both have kids, so we're now thinking about these things, like how do you structure your business as an asset, almost like a machine where you can, like, what are some of the roles that you're thinking that you need to have in place to run a business beyond, you know, 30K per month? Because up to 10, 15, 20, if you're hustling, you're working, you're putting in the work, you could do most of it yourself. But you get to a point where you're like, nah, man, I need to hire some people.
Yeah. So I've had some of the same people on my team for the last 3 years. My designer that is on my team, he actually reached out to me and was like, hey, I'll work for you for free for a month. I just want to do some design. And, you know, I brought him on for a month. He worked for free, and then I put him on full time after that. And he's been with me for 3 years. I have a copywriter that's been with me for 2.5 years. I have another designer that's kind of in training right now that is really good at what she does. She just needs a little bit more guidance to get to where, you know, the quality that we want to like put out there for our clients. I have a general VA. And then I'm in the process of getting a client success manager as well as another copywriter.
Okay. So are you mostly doing sales calls and client briefs to get it started? Or are you still somewhat involved in some of the elements in delivery?
I'm still involved in delivery. I personally, I really like writing copy. So
you're damn good at it, if I may say so.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I write majority of our client sales pages, and then I have my other copywriter. If we need like an opt-in page or we need emails or anything like that, she's really solid when it comes to those.
Perfect. First of all, thank you for going deep and sharing actual information that other people can think about when they're building their business. Outside of your agency, do you have any other income streams? So a lot of people talk about diversification, and me personally too, I like to have some that are more passive, more scalable, like digital templates or programs or consulting, marketplaces, building assets. But at some point, that can also become a distraction. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on focus and also diversification. Or if you're just like, no, the agency is a cash machine, I just need to focus on that to get it to consistent 6-figure months.
Yeah, I mean, I do some affiliate marketing. I have a couple people signed up under affiliates that bring me in anywhere from like $1,000 to $2,000 a month, which doesn't seem that much, but when it's just kind of like play around money, it does allow me to do additional shit throughout my life.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I've went to launch a couple different e-com brands, but every time I have started to focus on like something else, the agency really kind of took a hit on where we were trying to go. So until like my goal is 10 clients paying $10,000 a month plus 10% rev share on that. And my main focus is getting us to that. And once I can get us to that, then I can take that step back. My big goal is private equity. So investing in other companies, buying other companies, scaling them up, exiting them, and just like that's the big goal that I'm trying to reach.
Sounds very similar to what I'm doing as well, because we're in the same niche. We're working with info brands and personal brands. And so is the goal to have a portfolio of personal brands where you build everything, you charge up front, and then you charge a performance percentage on top of that? Or like equity, even like buying, investing in them, and then taking over and having your team grow them for them?
Pretty much. We look at ourselves as growth partners now. So we were just kind of like a funnel agency where we'd build out the funnel. They'd have somebody run the traffic, or we'd connect them with somebody to run the traffic for the last like year and a half. And now that we're bringing media buying back into the agency, we're more looking at like being growth partners for these companies and these influencers, where we build out the entire funnel. We run all the ads, we handle all the back end emails, and pretty much all they have to do is show up to the sales calls that get booked. And then if they don't have setters already on their team, which I always recommend them having at least one setter. So that way every lead that comes in, because with the call booking funnel, how it's set up is, they opt in, they watch the 5 to 20 minute VSL, and then they go to book their call. Only about 5% of the people that opt in are going to book their call. And our goal is to, get the phones ringing, doing 10 touches within 3 days to really get these people to pick up and qualify them real quick, and then push them to book the call.
That makes sense. And I love what you said about being a growth partner, because that's truly how you position yourself in the marketplace. Even me, without doing ads, I'm still a growth partner because I'm a consultant. And I tell them like, hey, by the way, if you want to scale your high ticket, you would benefit from having a wow offer on the front end that self-liquidates. You can pump that money back into ad spend, get more qualified leads into your high ticket for free. So I love that part. Curious to hear your thoughts on this as well. I asked Chris Benetti this on the first episode, because right now there's a trend with agencies going into SaaS. We've done it. We have a software now, white label. A lot of people, especially if you have an audience, I'm seeing people launch their own softwares in this space. Is that something you've tried or are thinking about doing in the future to sort of, again, diversify / build an asset that you could exit?
I've thought about it, and it's not something that's on the radar at the moment. I've just found with one of the platforms that we would use, I have found some issues with, like, when you're using an SMTP, a lot of the email marketing results doesn't actually show you what the actual results are. So you can't really optimize stuff that way. But it is a great platform. We use it for our CRM. I still build funnels on Clickfunnels Classic, because what I've noticed running my own traffic is we actually get a 50% cheaper cost per click, which brings a 50% cheaper cost per lead when we run traffic to Clickfunnels Classic. We were running traffic to Clickfunnels Classic, Clickfunnels 2.0, and Go High Level. And Clickfunnels Classic every single time was always the cheaper cost per lead for some reason. I can't figure it out, but like it's always been the cheapest.
And it's not even the fastest load speed. So that's interesting to hear. I remember when I switched over to high level, I heard the opposite. People were saying like, I want to stay with ClickFunnels, but it's hurting my ads. It's actually costing me more. So that's interesting. I've also seen a lot of people who, when they launch, they just pick the ones that's easiest to understand. And then when they scale with ads, you can just take a proven funnel, even have someone custom code it. So now it's even faster. Like this is when you go like nitty gritty, super detailed, and you want to optimize for scale where, you can spend 10K per day. And it actually matters. For beginners, it probably doesn't really matter. So I think of softwares as tools in a toolbox and not identities. I don't know if you've seen this war. It's kind of like left versus right. You see this war between companies now. We're funnel builders, and it's like everyone is fighting each other. What are your thoughts on that, and like picking tools and softwares and identity marketing and movements and things that are happening in this market?
I think Russell Brunson did a phenomenal job creating a cult around ClickFunnels
Mm,
and getting people so like invested and sold on it. Like he really knows what he is talking about. I think all the beef between the softwares is, I mean, it's stupid, but if you look at a lot of like big corporations and stuff like that, Nikes and Adidas, like there's always some beef
Android,
between
iPhone.
them. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that's they leverage that. It's like throwing rocks at your enemy and
Mm,
like justifying their failures and different things like that. So they leverage it really, really well, especially in the software space that we've been able to see with like ClickFunnels and in high level and then Groove and all of
yeah.
these like they do throw rocks at each other and it's just fun to watch because it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Especially if you're not like emotionally attached, you're just kind of like neutral and you're focusing on your own business, which is the most important thing. And your health and things like that of that nature. Because right now there's a lot of distractions. I wake up and the mornings, I can tell the mornings where I've spent time scrolling versus
Yeah.
the mornings where I've just got online, put on some music and get to work with no distractions. And it's like night and day difference in terms of productivity. Speaking of which, curious what you do to optimize your days to be more productive. Do you have a separate office? Is it at home? How do you structure your focus hours, or your how do you get into a flow state and that sort of thing to just be present for your team and be creative and be optimized?
Yeah, so I'm happy you brought this up because I'd say over the last like month and a half, I've really been optimizing my entire schedule.
Mm,
Um, I bought a second phone so that
okay.
way, like I have this phone right here. I don't have YouTube, I don't have TikTok, I don't have
Mm,
any social media apps on there
I
at
love that.
all. And then on my other phone, which I usually keep dead or in a drawer or something like that, that I just kind of create some friction going to it because I read this book called The Dopamine Detox. It's
Mm,
a really, really short book. And I really started to start realizing like the reason I haven't been able to focus as much lately or get into flow as easy as possible. And I feel like this goes on so much with the like millennials, the generation under that, and the generation coming up, is we're
yeah.
so fixated on instant gratification and we're so fixated on getting these dopamine hits throughout our day that we start lying to ourselves saying like, you know, I can start getting focused within the next hour or
Yeah.
I have time to do this tomorrow. And when it really comes down to it, like every day that you push your shit back is a day that you're pushing back, creating the best life that you could create for you. So now what I do is I wake up at 6 a.m. I give myself like 15, 20 minutes to like get up and get ready for the day. By
Mm,
6:30, I sit at my desk in my home office. I'm here until 8:30, so I give myself about 2 full hours of straight focus work, put on some binaural beats, might put on my noise canceling headphones just so that way everything is just
yeah.
like right there. And then I get to work for those 2 hours. After those 2 hours is up, I have a tea, which is usually just some tea with caffeine, and
Mm,
then Shilajit. And then
okay.
from there, I go to the gym for about an hour. I come home, start doing a 30-minute meditation. I journal a little bit just to kind of reflect on what I want to accomplish throughout that day, how everything's been going throughout the week. And then our team huddle is every day at 11 a.m. And then from there, I'm either doing sales calls, I'm coaching some of my team members, and I'm doing some other like deep focus work that might be writing a sales page or just really kind of educating so that way I can better serve my team as well as my clients.
I feel like after a gym, and especially if you do like a cold shower, you're like a new person. And so doing journaling and setting attentions after that and not when you're waking up, I think that can work in your favor for sure. Do you have any specific tools or softwares that you use for productivity, or I'm assuming for your team, you're using things like Slack maybe. Asana or ClickUp and things of that nature. But if you could talk quickly about kind of your structure, especially when you have a team. These are less important when you're starting by yourself, but when you have a team and you want to be on top of everything and see kind of the stages at which your projects are, it helps to have tools and softwares.
Yeah, so we use ClickUp for project management, and then we use Slack. Every Monday at 2 p.m. we have our team meeting. I break everything down on a Google Drive or Google Doc where I have all the clients, everything that needs to be done for those clients, who needs to be doing those. Then my VA takes all of those, puts them in ClickUp. My team's making sure that they manage ClickUp throughout the day. And then all communication, everything happens inside of Slack.
That's awesome. So pretty simple and straightforward. And that allows you to build a business that does 50K per month, which is for people listening, I think it makes it real. Like, okay, you work with a specific client, specific niche, you do a specific type of funnel type and ads to get them a result. You optimize for backend profits as well. And then you just keep your personal life pretty simple, it sounds like. The fundamentals like fitness and family, and then get into flow state to build the client projects to get them results, and then you repeat the next day.
Yep, so exactly.
Pivoting a little bit to the future of this industry, because there's a lot of like fake FOMO, not FOMO, but FUD on YouTube of AI taking all of our jobs. And I believe some of them, like you look at McDonald's and the robots taking orders, and it's happening. But for us, positioned as growth partners, one way or another, what do you think of this industry maybe 24 months from now, or even 12 months from now? But at least 5 years from now is going to look very different when it comes to freelancing and agency. So how do you position yourself and structure your services in a way where you're kind of you're irreplaceable, basically, because of so much value that you're offering to your clients? How do you look at AI and the impact it's going to have for people like us?
I think it's going to be like a tool that we're going to be able to use. I don't think it's going to fully replace us.
Yeah.
There are a lot of really good AI tools out there that help us do our job better. But the people that don't, like the people that get left behind are going to be the people that are just kind of rejecting the fact that AI it's here and it's here to stay. I have a couple clients where we might use AI or ChatGPT to write some emails and stuff and everything for that. We still do have to copy chief it to make sure everything flows right, make sure it's the verbiage. But I've really got it down for a couple clients where I can tell it to write a specific email, give it the hook that I want it to write, and then it will write it with like the person's language and how they speak and all of that.
Yeah. What I love about AI, we can use it for brainstorming by feeding the context first. So if I wrote something for your business or my business, I would just give ChatGPT or any AI tool enough context of who we're serving, how we're helping them, what they've said is, the main thing they love about us, specific results and that sort of thing. Because AI has the data sources, the knowledge sources of the internet, millions of data pieces. And what is missing is, how do you take the copywriting frameworks and apply it specifically to your business or my business? I've also seen on YouTube specifically, I've seen some copywriters express a concern that AI is not taking their job, but just making the perception of their services less valuable, which is interesting. But someone like yourself, who you're a very good copywriter, but you're not selling copywriting specifically or only. So I guess the conclusion could be, for those copywriters listening, is to offer more of a full stack service, helping clients start to finish to actually make more. And if you do that, you can charge more, and you're also not as easily replaced.
Exactly. The biggest thing that helped my business was productizing my offer. So creating an offer that no matter who I pitch it to, they get the same amount of stuff within that offer. It can be an event funnel, or it can be the call booking VSL funnel.
Yeah.
And both of them are priced at the same amount. And they pretty much get the same amount of stuff, where it's up to 5 pages, it's up to 30 emails, it's up to 14 SMSs, and like all of that is designed, it's integrated, everything that they would need. And no matter who I'm pitching it to, it's the same thing. And that's what's really helped my agency kind of go from, struggling to, pitch what we do, to being able to create an actual script that I can go through and really just highlight the benefits of what we sell.
Yeah. How do you find clients? Do you just do inbound, or do you also do referral and outbound marketing to get them? Because the one thing I love about having that one niche is they're easier to find and locate online. And then with social media, we can message them. It's a one-on-one conversation in DMs or on a Zoom call. But for you, I'm curious how you find those people who could need a challenge funnel or an event funnel or a VSL funnel.
Yeah. So when we first started, and when I first started taking off, it was because of different Facebook groups that we were in. So I'd have my team searching different Facebook groups. Anybody that said, hey, I'm looking for a funnel designer, I'm looking for a copywriter, I'd have 4 or 5 people go and tag me in that. So right there, it creates social proof.
Yeah.
I would go comment on there with case studies and testimonials from clients that we would work with. I'd send them a friend request. I would send them a message mentioning the post, and then kind of start the conversation and everything from there. We've probably done 300,000 to 400,000 just from the Clickfunnels group alone. And with how they've restructured that group, and they don't do they don't allow people to do posting for hiring posts and everything there, we actually took a huge hit, I'd say, within the last year from that strategy actually working. So right now we run ads to a couple different lead magnets. We're getting ready to run ads to our new VSL that we're pushing out there. We do outbound DMing. We do content marketing. We get quite a bit of referrals, and just making sure that, if you do a really good job, each customer that you land should be at least 2 referrals.
Yeah.
And if they bring in 2 referrals, you do another good job, there's 2 more referrals from each of those. So it can exponentially grow with referrals, but I hate relying on those. So I do have a setter in my agency. We're using a new kind of strategy that we learned from, I believe it was Charlie Morgan, where they send friend requests out. Somebody accepts the friend request. We send a 15-second video saying, hey, Gusten, great to connect with you. We've been working on something that helps coaches and, course creators generate anywhere from 20 to 40 book calls every single week. I don't want to show you or pitch you what it is. So if I have your permission, I'd love to send you over a video that kind of walks through it. And we ask for their permission, which kind of sets it up where we're not actually pitching them. We're just kind of telling them, hey, we've been working on something great. We think it would be interesting to you. If we have your permission, let us know. Shoot us a quick thumbs up. They send a thumbs up. We send over a 2-minute video that just kind of explains the process, as well as has a whole bunch of case studies and everything in it. And we just started using, we just started using this within the last week. But I know he does anywhere from $300,000 to $400,000 a month using this strategy. So I'm excited to see how, this really starts to go. And then I joined the admin mastermind, and one of the strategies that they talk about is personalized Loom videos, where you're just doing a Loom video, letting them know different things that you could help out with, maybe auditing their page, auditing their ads, seeing different things that you see that, you could use to really boost up the conversions and really get their cost per acquisition down and their profits up. And you show them that in the video, say, hey, if this sounds interesting to you, let's book a quick call, set up a 15-minute call, kind of get to know them a little bit more, schedule a second call that is more like the sales call, setting up the strategy, getting everything a little bit more in depth with all of that.
I love that. I've been talking with a lot of my students about cold outreach, because I get outreach messages, as I'm sure you get, all the time for YouTube thumbnails and for video editing and all these things. And the people that stand out, guess what they have all in common? They say, hey, Gusten, I love your stuff. I would love to do a free video, a short form video for you. I would love to do a free thumbnail for you. You don't need to send me anything. I can pick a video from your YouTube. I just want to make sure I have permission to send it over. All I have to do is say yes. Literally, sometimes if I'm like tired and I'm going to sleep, I'm just like, yes. You know, instead of a formal like, yeah, that sounds awesome, please do. And here's my email to send it over. And because it's so simple for me to respond, it doesn't take anything, not even mental energy, right?
Yep.
I've hired a ton of those people on retainers now, where I pay them thousands per month to work with me. Because number one, it's a valuable service that they offer, and it's low risk. It's actually no risk, and it's a no-brainer. So I tell people when they're doing funnel building and stuff, you send messages that aren't pitches, and then give something specific, like could be a checklist, it could be a new training that you have, it could be a new ebook, but don't do what everyone else is doing, which is, hey, I saw you're in this Facebook group, it's nice to connect. Like if you leave it at that, you're gonna get, you know, nowhere, because everyone is like doing the same thing. And so the main thing is like, how do you stand out and offer something that's a no-brainer, no risk offer? And then you're not supposed to get a lot of hate doing that, right? Because people don't love being pitched to, especially if you're a stranger. So what are some other things that people could do, in your opinion, that is valuable on the front end in a cold outreach method?
Yeah. So if you're doing like funnel design and stuff, go get their other funnel and design it in your account. When you design it in your account, send it over to them. Be like, hey, I really think that this design would boost up your conversions. Would love to give it to you. And you give them that design for free. It should only take what, like 3 hours to do it, if that.
Max.
And and then
so I was gonna say, sorry to cut you off. I was just gonna say, you don't even have to do the full page. So you could just do a brand board, a mood board, or a theme that's like, here's your old page, and then you do the hero section with a new direction just to get their attention. Because that also says, hey, I'm here to serve you and help you, and I'm not insulting you on your ugly ass website, you know, and trying to pitch that way. And so to me, it sounds more like a friendly relationship starting off, instead of like, hey, you suck, but I'm better, so you should hire me, type of thing.
Yep. No, 100%.
Okay, so we have inbound, outbound, referrals, and all of that. What are some mistakes you see beginners make in this space?
A lot of it comes down to how they do those DMs, like you were talking about. Sometimes I'll get like 3-paragraph long DMs of people trying to like pitch me on their services. And a lot of the times when they pitch me, they're like, hey, we help coaches and course creators. I definitely think what you're doing at Ads and Funnels would be perfect for this. And it's like, did you even do any research on who you are writing out? And then I think one of the other big things is trying to sell broke people. I know Stephen Larson talks about this a lot, is you will struggle to continue to scale your business if, you know, at least if you're selling like a funnel design and stuff like that, if you sell to broke people. I used to sell to brand new coaches. We would charge anywhere from $5,500 to $8,500 for a full funnel build. We would get everything built, and then they would be like, what do we do now? It's like, now you have to spend money to run traffic to there, or start doing organic to start running traffic to there. And then they'd be like, well, I don't have the budget to run ads.
And I don't want to be on camera because I'm, you know, and it's like, okay, do you want to have a business, or, you know, what's the deal here?
Exactly. And then I'd say the other biggest mistake is allowing yourself to get so focused in learning. There's no better way of learning than actually being in the trenches, than actually making those mistakes and fucking up a few times throughout it. I think that a lot of people are scared to go out there and make the mistakes, so they get so stuck in consuming information that they don't put out information.
So true. There's no better way to learn than working with real clients and failing your way to success. I love that. Michael, what's your 10-year goal? What's your dream vision? What do you want to accomplish with your business and life?
So I actually have this written out in a doc that I look at pretty much every other morning, as much as possible. And like right now, my wife and I, we have a daughter. Our goal is to hopefully have a son next time around. Um, if it doesn't happen, then we're still staying at the two children.
Yeah, which is also good. I have two daughters. They're adorable.
No, I love that, man. I have a few questions for you after this about
Yeah.
just how you prioritize your day so that way you can spend more time with your family and stuff like that.
Yeah, we can go deeper into
But
that after this. Yeah.
yeah, but I would say I like my big dream is to have a house in the mountains somewhere, whether that's Colorado, Montana, I think North Carolina, up in like Raleigh area, somewhere where I can kind of just go and escape, as well as do like masterminds and stuff at, and invite people like clients over, film their VSL and everything there, and really just kind of utilize it as both like where I'm going to just cut myself off from everything for 2 weeks at a time, like one time or two times throughout the year, and really be able to refocus myself and be able to make sure that everything that I am doing today is bringing me to where I'm going tomorrow. I really want I'd have some way of sustainable living. So have some goats, some chickens, maybe a cow or two at a given time, and really just being able to live off the land and live off everything that we're creating as well. Just because with how everything is going, like we don't really know what's going to happen in the next 10 to 20 years. Like AI could take over. It could be like iRobot, and we are having to kind of hide out and do different things like that. And then I'd also like to have a house here in St. Petersburg, close to the ocean, so that way I can just sit out, really relax, write copy. I write a lot better copy when I'm around water and when I'm in like really high vibration environments. And I think that that's really important. And then when it comes to the business side, within the next 10 years, I'd like the agency to be anywhere from 10 to $15 million a year. And then I'd like to really have a portfolio of companies where like one, I have an idea for a hot sauce company. I already bought the domain and everything for that. I have an idea for a subscription service company that my wife and I are talking about creating and stuff there as well. And then just investing in different e-com businesses, different brick and mortar businesses. I really like the boring business side of everything. Heard this girl talking about it, where if you invest in like a laundromat, they're not going anywhere. Everybody needs to wash their clothes. Everybody's like, I don't think I've ever gone to one where it's like, or drove by one that's been extremely empty. So I think that is just a really boring business that everybody needs. So investing in a couple of those.
Cody Sanchez, right? She's talking a lot about boring businesses and buying local businesses. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I'd like to just have a portfolio of companies that are paying me and have a really solid team around me that I can actually like rely on and relinquish control. I think that's a big mistake that people make, is they get so caught up in controlling every aspect of their business that they don't bring in the right people, because they don't want to bring in people smarter than them, because then next thing you know, they feel like, oh, these people are just going to run off and do exactly what we're doing right here at our agency and stuff like that. But that's not true. If you really compensate your people and you create a culture that people actually want to be in, and you be the leader that will actually take them to where they want to be, making sure that your vision is big enough to fit their vision inside of is extremely important. And like that's what I'm trying to create here.
Sounds awesome. It sounds very similar to what I'm trying to create here. At one point, I wanted to just travel the world. I was even considering, and we were talking with my wife, like, should we just move outside of Finland? And we were traveling for weeks. But when I came back, I was like, we have an amazing life in Finland. We live simple. We live out in the fields, in the forest, a small village. So we can just build everything here in the backyard, like the pools and the sauna, and like we can build everything we want. Chicken, and my brother actually has chicken and stuff. So I can just get everything and get advice from people nearby to build everything. And I have this saying, this like dream big, but live simple. And that doesn't mean to live in scarcity, but it's knowing what you want, like the few things that actually matters and makes you fulfilled. And then working on yourself is what makes you see progress, and then, gets you that feeling that I think all of us are looking for. Because at one point, money is not going to bring you more happiness. It can actually, if you grow it too big, it can actually destroy some of your happiness. And so I'm more of like optimizing for not balance, but optimizing for lifestyle and family when you do have the skills, right? There's a time to actually build the skills and hustle a little bit to learn how to get up and running, and then like, okay, what's actually important? So I love that part. Two questions. We have one that you answered for the previous guest, Chris Benetti, who said, I'm curious to ask the next person how to do more outbound marketing. So you answered that one. So you're going to be able to ask a question for the next person. But before that, for anyone starting out, let's say they're 10 years younger than you, or maybe even your daughter watching this on YouTube 15 years from now, what's one piece of advice that you would give her or anyone else watching who are stuck there thinking about giving up and they don't have any hope whatsoever to build something for themselves? What words of encouragement would you give them?
I mean, was it 7 years ago? I was a drug addict. I was a high school dropout. I was literally going nowhere in life. I tell people I was going 3 places: 6 feet under, prison, or homeless. And really everything is about mindset. It's about figuring out where you are, where you want to go, and just allowing yourself grace throughout that journey to make mistakes, because there are hundreds of millionaires and billionaires that have gone broke multiple times and have created or recreated the wealth that they once had. So focus on yourself, invest in yourself, and you won't have any bigger ROI than that. It's really that, I wouldn't say it's that simple, but it really is, because imposter syndrome is always going to be there, and realizing that it's always going to be there and being able to still conquer that, because it doesn't matter what level you're at. Once you get to that next level, you, like, for me at least, I start feeling that imposter syndrome start like creeping in again. And it's just realizing that, there's nobody in this world that is really more smarter, more talented, or more driven. They just know something that you don't know yet. And you can always go out there and self-educate yourself on those things, so that way you are in the know and you can start creating the things that you want to create in your life.
I love that, especially what you said about grace. I think a lot of people, they start one thing and they tell everyone about it, that they're going to do this big thing, and then they fail and they think something is wrong with them, instead of thinking, oh, actually, I knew the first thing is probably going to fail. Second thing might fail too. But it's not a question of like how long I'm going to try. It's when, because I'm trying for the rest of my life, when am I going to succeed? Then having the grace to be like, first of all, I am me and I am not my emotions. So I allow those emotions to be there, but I don't allow them to dictate my actions. Even if sometimes I might feel some of them waking up, I'm like anxious. It's like, how do I reset and get into a state of mind to do my best today and do the same thing tomorrow? And then every day you're self-aware enough to be like, what actually matters? Where can I improve? What are some clients we can serve more? What are some opportunities that we can get into, while staying focused on the main thing that actually matters? And if you just do that one day at a time, and you find people around you who are like-minded, and you don't surround yourself with toxic people who drain you, there's no chance that you won't be successful.
Yep.
And so I think that's a good place to leave off. Michael, my brother, I appreciate you coming on and being so open, sharing everything, leaving it on the table for other people to pick up, go and run with, and build a business that they love with one or multiple streams of income. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Of course, man. Thanks for having me. and hopefully everybody that's watching got some value out of it.
Oh, 100%. Right. We'll see you soon, guys. Thank you.